Hi, guys. Welcome back to Crime Time with Jess. So, I thought I would come on and talk about this war some more. It's been a lot of my intake when I'm intaking content. This is kind of what I've been watching and paying attention to for a lot of different reasons. But I was just watching something from Fox News, and the description of it was after 2 weeks of this conflict, aid has finally been allowed into Gaza, and Israel responds with airstrikes. Now, when I read that, I thought, are they coming at Israel? Like, are they saying, oh, the aid's coming in and Israel starts bombing? But I realized that I read it wrong. But what struck me about that is I got sort of defensive because I have been seeing so much hatred towards Jewish people, towards Israel online, that it's really disheartening to me, if I'm being honest. Now, if you're a Bible believer, then you should already know how this story ends. If you're not, you can look it up. Spoiler alert. Gaza does not win. It is prophesied in the Bible that Gaza will cease to exist and Israel will prevail. Now, whether that comes to fruition or not, I don't know. I'm not a psychic, but that is what the Bible says. So, either way, I am really dumbstruck by these comments that I'm seeing online, these celebrations that I'm seeing for Hamas, this free Palestine movement that I'm seeing. It's so preposterous. It's absolutely ridiculous, in my opinion. If you have a different opinion than me, that's fine. You know me. I am okay with other people's opinions, but this is mine. This is not punch buggy, no punch back. But I feel like this is the game that Hamas is playing, because they invade Israel, land, air, and sea. And then now it's, wait, don't attack us back. The kids are here. Oh, really? Because Hamas specifically targeted children and women. Literally targeted them. We don't have to guess at this because they provided video of it. They bragged about it. They claimed that. So there's no guessing game there. Like with the hospital situation, there's a guessing game there. There's no guessing game with Hamas that they went and did this to women and children in Israel for no apparent reason. They were not provoked. They chose to do this. So now for them to be parading children constantly, I see Palestinian children all over the news, and it's very sad because, in my opinion, they are the only innocents here. They're the only innocents, and these children are suffering because of the decisions of their parents and of the elected leaders of their territory. That is why these children are suffering, and it's very sad. But this is war, and I don't know what people expect exactly. Did Hamas really expect to invade Israel, land, air, and sea again, plan this attack for 2 years, and then have nothing happen back? That's absurd. And that's not going to happen. And we all know what war is like. Nobody likes war because it's death, it's pain. But again, I said this in my other live stream about Israel. What are they supposed to do? Nothing? Should they do nothing? And then just have the aggressor become more aggressive? Or do you shut that shit down? I feel like these are the choices. Are civilians going to be hurt? Yes. Unfortunately, yes. That's just the resounding answer. They are going to be hurt. No matter what armies do from any country that's fighting and carrying on, civilians are always hurt. Hi, Justice Jane. How are you, love? But they are. And it's truly collateral damage, and it's truly unfortunate. But something that I've seen that I want to talk about quickly. Well, maybe not too quickly. But I see some TikTokers, some African American or Black TikTokers, making the correlation between Black Lives Matter movement and Hamas's movement. And that is, you are going down a very crazy, slippery slope there. Okay? Because these two things are not the same. Black Lives Matter is about the color of people's skin, that it's about race. This conflict between Israel and Palestine has nothing to do with race. This is not about race. This is about religion. And I see this narrative being pushed by Palestinians because this resonates with a lot of Western people. When I say people in the West, I mean the United States. I mean us, blah, blah, blah. But it resonates with us, and it's sort of the Palestinians, the brown people, are being oppressed by the Jewish white people. Nothing could be further from this truth that they are trying to tell you. This is just simply not true. Okay? All Jewish people are not stark white. They're not. Okay? So this propaganda by Hamas being pushed that, the brown people are being oppressed and the white Jewish people are the oppressors is just ridiculous. And again, I feel like it's easily sold on people in Western countries because we see a lot of race tensions and things like that. That is not the case here. This is all about religion, and it has nothing to do with skin color or anything like that. So Black Lives Matters, people attaching themselves to Hamas and making a correlation between these two things, just stop. That is so far off. These two things are just not the same. Period. Another thing about this, I see the outcry for Israel, use restraints, and Israel, let these people have food. Here's how I view this. As Hamas is the leader of the Palestinians, they rule Gaza. The people that are living there, the Palestinian people that are living there, are their responsibility. And you are at war. So it is your responsibility to get your people aid. And I believe I said this in the last stream. The problem with that is that Hamas doesn't care about their people. They don't give a crap, really. So I find it absurd on every single level that here in the United States, ask your middle-class person about groceries. There has been an insane inflation of food here. Our food prices have skyrocketed. If you're a mom or anyone really that goes grocery shopping, you know that the prices have gone through the roof, and it has been this way for some time. But our President Biden, has approved $100 billion for Palestinian aid and Ukraine. And I think this is insane. I truly find this insane. How are you going to track this money? Hamas usually takes the money. They do this. They take aid that is supposed to be given to the Palestinian people and they use it for war. Are we really going to fund this war from both sides? Is that what we're doing? Because I can barely afford groceries as an American, but we're funding 2 foreign wars or helping to fund 2 foreign wars. Please make this make sense to me. Just if you're an American, I would love to hear your thoughts on that because that really bothers me. We do not always have to be the world savior. Do I think we should be there for Israel as our ally? Absolutely. Absolutely. Because when you're not there for your allies, guess what? They won't be there for you. And I do believe that Israel is 100% in the right here. My heart does go out to the innocents, which are the children. But to tell Israel not to act And to make Israel the bad guy is really insane to me. I don't know how you would expect them not to act when they were invaded in every different form. They were. And again, Hamas knew exactly what they were doing. They knew this would start a war. You're going to go into another country's streets, grab women, rape them, take children, take video of it, admit this to the world proudly, and then you just expect the other country to do nothing, show restraint. You didn't show restraint. You literally targeted their weakest citizens physically, innocent children and women. Hamas targeted Israeli women and children. That's just fact. They're not hiding this. They're not denouncing it. You have the leaders, the ambassadors from Hamas going on Piers Morgan, and they refuse to denounce what Hamas has done. What does that tell you? That they don't disagree with it. They don't. So all of this outpouring of, oh, the poor Palestinian people and they need freedom. I will ask you again, what do they need freedom from exactly? What are they needing freedom from? And I feel like that's a legitimate question. They are being ruled by Hamas, not Israel. So who are they being free from? Hamas? The people that are in England and here in the United States and in Australia and in different countries celebrating Hamas? Do they need to be free from them? Because they started this war. I mean, I don't understand this, free Palestine. Maybe free them from Hamas. Yes, I would totally agree with that. Just give me a second, I guess. So dark in here. But anyway, so Justice JD, I guess it's just me and you. I don't know, but this war does really bother me, and the comments that I've seen from people are just really staggering. I mean, it's like they forgot the whole first part of this, or why this is even happening to begin with. And I'm just constantly seeing this free Palestine and all of this stuff and get the Jews. I've seen these comments online, and I'm like, really? I mean, this is pure hatred for what? For what reason exactly? Because they have a different religion. What is it? The persecution is real. And then honestly, I feel like any country. Oh, can we just touch on this, please? You guys know that I'm an odd duck. I don't hide that. And I had studied Putin for years and blah, blah, blah. I still do. I still find Putin fascinating. Just on a psychology level, he's a fascinating character. But I found it very rich that Putin actually issued a statement saying that he was ready to sit down with the Israeli leaders and the Hamas leaders and broker peace. I read this and I'm thinking to myself, sir, you are literally in your own war right as we speak. You could not broker any peace. You're going to broker peace for these two other countries. Just stop, please, for the love of God. But there's always a reason for things, and that's because Syria and Russia are going to work together because Israel is surrounded by all of these Arab countries. We all know that. So it's a little concerning that Putin's, just poking his nose in there as per usual. But I thought that was so rich. And then the United States, sort of, we are definitely standing behind Israel as a country. But at the same time, Biden keeps making these comments of, there has to be a pathway to a state for Palestinians. Okay. Yes, I suppose. But where these two countries are located, do we honestly see an end in sight for this? Because I've seen multiple videos of Palestinian children literally being taught to hate Jewish people altogether. Altogether. There are actually road signs going into Israel saying, like, stop, you'll die if you go in here. A lot of brainwashing going on. So I simultaneously feel sorry for Palestinians and then also sort of blame them in a way for their ideology and this unbridled hatred that they seem to have. Do I think that Israel's perfect? No, there's no such thing. There's no country that's perfect. That's just an absurd thought. They have for sure done things wrong. But in this instant, in this war, because it is a war, I do not believe that Israel is on the wrong side here. And I believe that people that are cheering Hamas on and celebrating the murders that they caused are just disgusting. I find that disgusting. How you can justify, I don't care your whole oppression talk. Oh, the Palestinians were oppressed and it built up to hatred. And this is what happens. No, this is not what happens. You do not go chop off the heads of babies and rape women in the streets because you're oppressed and this is just what happens. That is not just what happens. Because if that is your mentality, then you cannot tell me that you're the same people that are probably saying, oh my God, Israel, you better show some restraint. You better don't stop striking them. Don't you dare do a ground assault. You must be the same people that are doing that. You have to be. So, but I guess no one wants to yak on with me on this Saturday. I was actually supposed to work today, and then I didn't. So that's why I kind of went live and I was watching some stuff. It fired me up a little bit. Oh, that was not a good fall, but nothing broke. Thank God. But another thing, I don't think that people really understand like the history. Maybe they've educated themselves, maybe they haven't. I'm not really sure. But if you go back and you look at some stuff, okay, Hamas is surely not who you want to be championing, just as human beings. That's just not probably something you want to do unless you have a dark heart. It would be truly equivalent to basically cheering on the Nazis. I mean, that's the equivalent. So people that hate Jewish people more than they love their own children. And I believe that's actually a saying. A Jewish woman, I believe, famously said that the only time that this is ever going to stop is when the Palestinian people love their children more than they hate Jews. And I thought that was a pretty profound statement because generally, we love our kids more than anything. So instead of teaching hatred, maybe you would love them more to want to see them have a better life. But I truly hate religious indoctrination for this reason. This is all religious stuff. And look at what's happening. It could lead to a World War III, easily lead to that. I don't believe that's going to happen. Not in this instant. I do believe World War III will eventually happen. I was talking about that earlier, and I was saying, there's countries that have nukes. There's so much tension between different countries that have nuclear capabilities. It's just kind of bound to happen. People are constantly talking about it, and I don't know who's going to pull the linchpin. Who knows? I have no idea. Hi, Vintage Mama of Three. Thank you for becoming a member. Appreciate that. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. I've been yakking on by myself here for 20 minutes. But yeah, I do believe that World War III will eventually take place. When that will be, not sure. What country is going to do that? Honestly, I do not believe it will be the United States. I do not believe that we will be the first to launch a nuke. We launched the atom bomb. We saw what happened. I think it was enough to scare us and the rest of the world to see the destruction that the atom bomb caused. I just don't think it's going to be us that's going to do the nuclear bomb. Could be Russia. I swear, I just see Putin like knowing that he's dying and just being like, you guys are all going with me. I could see him being that petty. Maybe North Korea for shits and giggles. You know, I feel like they would do that. I really do, because they don't give a crap about their people either. And, you know, their leaders can go wherever and hide out or whatever. But there's several countries. It could be Israel. Again, they're surrounded by Arab countries who all want them to die, essentially. Could be them. And if they did something like that, no doubt we are going to be involved. So, but I don't know. I find this very sad, and I also, forgive me for saying it, but I find this war necessary. Because if Israel did nothing, they would be looked at as weak. Oh, you allowed that? You allowed us to invade your country, land, air, and sea, come in, rape women openly in the streets, chop off the heads of babies, and we're going to do nothing. Imagine how the other Arab countries would respond if Israel did nothing. It would be death for them. They have to respond. That's what I'm saying. They don't have a choice here. Vintage. The Palestinians hate us. On 9/11, they cheered. Exactly. And they're cheering now. I mean, there's video of this. We're not Israeli, but, you know, we obviously are a very big ally to Israel and vice versa. And they're cheering now. I think it's absolutely pitiful that we even allow this, because it's hate. It is nothing but hate. You are cheering what Hamas did, then you're cheering murder. There's no other way to say that. Do I believe in free speech? 100%. Hate speech, though? I didn't agree with the KKK guys, you know, trampling through North Carolina or South Carolina, wherever it was. I didn't agree with that, because it's hate. This is the same thing. There is no reason to be cheering this. None. And big shame on Germany. Big shame on Germany for allowing these sorts of protests in Beirut. Or not Beirut, but allowing them in Germany. Like, how dare you? I mean, this is like the second coming of Nazis. And you guys are cheering that on or allowing people to do that. Terrible. You know what? I found this very interesting. If you guys remember, when the whole Syria conflict was going on, and the Syrians were flooding out of Syria, and they were going toward, you know, Germany and those types of countries. There were some countries that were saying, nope, can't come here. We just, you know, we could take some of you. We just can't take a lot of you. Germany, on the other hand, Angela Merkel, who was the chancellor of Germany for a lot of years, she gave an open door policy. You know, come one, come all. If you can make it here, we will help you. Now, that was a dividing thing for people. Some people said you're an absolute idiot for that. Other people said, you're so kind, Germany. That's so kind of you. But I just read a quote. Hold on. That's how fast I type. Sorry. This is what she said. Angela Merkel, the woman who opened the door to Germany for a crap ton of immigrants, Muslim immigrants, came out and said, this multicultural approach has failed, utterly failed. Hang on, because she did say more than that. Here's the whole quote. They only gave part of it. All right. Well, that was part of the quote, but she definitely said that it was a complete failure. She said the so-called multicultural concept where people would live side by side happily did not work, and immigrants needed to do more integration, including learning German. So again, this was a woman that was very, very liberal. Here's the whole quote. I really wanted the whole quote. She said, and of course, the approach to build a multicultural society and to live side by side and to enjoy each other has failed, utterly failed. And I think that's very powerful coming from her because, again, she so readily opened the doors to Germany against any criticism. She didn't care. She wanted to help people. And I do think her heart was in the right place. But then seeing the effects of that, of bringing two completely different cultures together and trying to integrate them like that, it failed miserably. And I think that's the same thing with Israel and Gaza or Palestine. I'm just going to call them Palestinians. It's going to keep failing. There's no great solution here. There isn't one. So what do? Do you just tell Israel, oh, you can't be a state here anymore because they just want to try to kill you? Or do you move the Palestinians out of Gaza? What do you do? Or do you just let them fight it out to the death? What do you do? I don't know. I don't know the answers. I don't think any world leader knows the answer. What I think is ultimately going to happen is I think Hamas and the Palestinians are going to lose greatly. That's what I truly think is going to happen. Israel seems to be showing no signs of stopping, no signs of really listening to other world leaders, which I'm glad they're not. I'm sorry if that offends you, but I'm glad that they're not. I am glad that they are full steam ahead in what they are going to accomplish. And they said it from the start. We are going to exact a revenge on you that you are not going to forget. And I think that's exactly what they need to do. I fully support that. And again, I think it's terrible because obviously their death is coming to many people and many innocent people, and that's horrible. But what is the choice? What is the choice here? Just do nothing? That is not a choice. Doing nothing actually is a choice, and then it sends a message of weakness. And there's no other way to say that. So for people that are going, oh my God, Israel, I just can't believe you're going to do that. Were you saying the same things to Hamas? Can you believe what they did? And ask yourself, if you're an American, please ask yourself, how would you feel if this was us? Because what did we do? What did we do to Japan? Japan thought they were going to invade us from the air and the land. They rolled right up in Hawaii. And how did we respond? We dropped 2 atomic bombs on them, okay, which just shut down their whole military. We've been allies with them forever since. It shut it down. There was no more of that. So, just imagine as an American, if Hamas did this to us, what our response would be. There would be no other countries telling us what to do because we would not be hearing that, and we would go after them, and it would be the end of the story. Vintage. Oh, okay. She's saying it does not matter where the Jews move. Hamas and other Muslim groups will not be happy, so the whole earth is Muslim only. You know, I agree with you. I honestly do. It seems that when you have let's take, is it Dearborn, Michigan, I believe. We have a very large Muslim population there. And that's when the Syrian war was going on. And, we were bringing in some refugees. That is where we were putting them. They were cheering there with this Israeli and Hamas conflict. They were cheering Hamas on, a couple of weeks ago when they attacked Israel. So we have that going on. And it just seems to be with the Islamic religion that you follow us or you are just a straight enemy and you should die. Do I think that all Islamic people are walking around thinking about killing everyone? No, I don't. But oh, hi, sweetie. How are you? I was watching your live the other day. You love hearing me talk about this. Well, I'm glad because there's only like 2 other people that like hearing me talk about this. But yeah, it's kind of crazy to me that Hamas proudly shows us, hey, look what we did. We here's video of us kidnapping women, and here's video of us doing this and doing all these bad things. And then the world's just like, yay, good job. And then when Israel tries to attack back, the world's like, oh my God, how dare you? Don't you guys do that to them? This is just really crazy to me. Where does this thinking come from? I hate war. And I think any logical person would dislike war, again, because it means death. But sometimes it's necessary. Unfortunately, we still live in a world where it is necessary at times. This is one of those times. And again, I say that as an American who knows full well, if we were attacked in this way, there would be zero back talk. There would be zero, United States show restraint, because they know that we would not. And most of our citizens would be full force. Let's go. Let's get them, done. That's just kind of the American way. Sorry, but it just is. Actually, I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry about that, because I feel like if we were any different, we would have a lot of issues with people trying to invade us and things like that. We don't have those issues because we kind of are the way we are. So sorry. But Sweetie is saying, absolutely, it's crazy. War is horrible, most definitely. It is. So when I see Hamas with all of this propaganda that they keep doing, and when I say propaganda, they keep showing the children, because what is that going to do? Of course, any parent, anybody that loves a child or has a child in their life, it's going to yank right on your heartstrings. You're instantly going to feel bad, and so this is what we're seeing in the media. Look at this poor Palestinian child. Look at what these terrible Israelis are doing to these poor Palestinians. No, I'm sorry. That is not the case. That is not accurate. Are these children suffering? Yes. But again, they're suffering due to their parents and their leaders' decisions. And I say their parents because their parents are the ones that have voted Hamas in. So the Palestinian adults, and I'm not saying all, because I'm sure not all are, but the majority, they don't hate what Hamas did. They were cheering in the streets. They're not cheering anymore, but they were. Let's see. Vintage. Maybe if more people were out front with their opinions, our country wouldn't be a mess. Potentially, yes. But I've said it before. It's okay if somebody came in right now and said, I totally disagree with you. I think that Hamas is great and I'm celebrating them. I would probably want to talk to them. I want to hear that side. I disagree with you, but I still want to hear your reasoning and your logic as to why you feel that way. Oh, my laptop is dying. Darn it. And I don't know where my charger is. This is not good. Hold on just a second. I think this happened my last live stream too, which is kind of funny. Okay, this is better. All right, I have it plugged in. Sweetie Pilo, I know, I saw that. It was terrible to see the cheering. Yuck. Yeah, I agree. Even if you believe that the yeah, well, thank you, sweetie. Even if you believe that they are oppressed and all of that, you're still cheering on death. I know that Israel is striking Gaza. I'm aware. But I'm not going to sit here and go, yes, I'm so happy that potential children have died. No, I think this is terrible. I just think it's also necessary, sadly necessary. It's like an ugly evil, and it's really sad. I'm real and sorrowful. Thank you. Vintage Mama 3, agree, because you are not a liberal. You value everyone's right to their opinion. Sadly, many do not. Well, I very much used to be a liberal. I've talked about this before. And on some subjects, if full disclosure, I still am. There's still some things that I believe in that are considered liberal. But I read a quote. I think it was from Winston Churchill. And he said something along the lines of, if you are a conservative in your 20s, you're evil. But if you're still a liberal in your 40s, you're stupid. And I thought that was really good because usually in your 20s, you're like, yes, like everybody just love everybody and let's not fight. And what is this war about? Actually, you just haven't lived long enough to know all the history of everything, really. So I feel like people tend to lean more liberal in their 20s. But by the time you hit your 40s and you know what is going on this planet and what's been going on in history and all of that, your views change, to a more conservative mindset, I guess you could say. So yeah, but there still are some issues that I lean more liberal towards. So I'm not 100% either thing. I don't think. I feel like I'm in a class on my own, even though I know I'm not, because I've met other people like me that say, yes, I fully agree with the conservatives on this, and then on this issue, I agree with liberals here. So I think I'm more of a centrist person all the way around, I guess. I'm smoking a cigarette. I know it's terrible. I don't know. But I get tired of closing the camera. It's just, sweetie. When you have children to raise and you worry the world they're inheriting is when people's views tend to change, in my opinion. Yeah. Yes. And that's exactly kind of what I was saying about the Palestinians. I see their children as the only true victims because they believe in the ideology and they love that more, in my opinion, than they love their children, or they would stop this hatred. And I don't think any religion should be practicing or preaching any type of hatred. That's more of it sounds more like a cult to me than a religion. I think of religion and I think of positive or something that should be positive, not something that should be negative or hateful, if that makes sense. I have to blow my nose, so I'm going to mute my mic just for 2 seconds. Okay. I've been having allergies so bad. But anyway, I don't know what you guys follow, like if you guys get on Twitter or Instagram or TikTok. I'm sure you guys do. But have you guys seen the same level of hatred for Jewish people? Because I've been seeing it a lot. And it's just, I don't know, it struck me in the worst way of, was this what the Holocaust was like? You know, is this what it was like? That they saw what was happening, but no one did anything. And, you know, people were saluting to Hitler and stuff, even though they knew that this atrocity was being committed. You know, it almost feels like that, because I'm thinking to myself, am I in the Twilight Zone? Is this real? This terrorist group has literally put out videos about what they did, but people are still celebrating it. What am I missing? Because I do know the history. I'm aware of the history. I'm aware of what the Bible says. And so why are people celebrating this again? You know, and it just sort of feels like I feel like I'm in the Twilight Zone. I don't really understand that. I don't understand the mindset. All I keep seeing again is Western people from the West, the United States, etc., correlating this with like the Black Lives Matter movement of the brown people are being oppressed by the white Jewish people. And that could not be more off mark if you tried. It really couldn't. That's ridiculous. And it's a ridiculous correlation. And it should just stop. One is about race. One is about religion. We are talking about completely different things here. So, but I'm going to get off my soapbox. So I appreciate you swinging by, sweetie. Vintage, thank you for becoming a member. And if I get an itch, maybe I'll be on later tonight and we can just yak some more. So I will see you guys later. Bye for now.